Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. This is day 2 of Gear Fest here at Sweetwater, and I am joined by guitarist extraordinaire David Grissom. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure,
We appreciate you taking the time to visit with us.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back in Indiana.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you back.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you became a guitarist. What led you to start playing the guitar and get into music?
Actually, I can tell you exactly how. I originally started playing drums, and my grandfather was a drummer, and that's what really got me into it to begin with. But when I heard Revolver by the Beatles, there's a lick in "Got to Get You Into My Life" at the end of the very end of the song, almost at the very end of the song, and it was like, for some reason, that lick captivated me, and I knew that I wanted to be out from behind the drum set and play guitar, and it was that lick that really drew me into wanting to be a guitar player. And then from there, Hendrix, the Beatles, Stones, and then Blue, it went on from there.
Right.
But that was the moment. I can tell you
that
I can remember where I was when I heard it for the first time.
Right.
And that was it.
Right. Now, since then, you've played guitar with Joe Ely, Dixie Chicks, John Mellencamp, Storyville, a long list of really great artists, a lot of studio work, and you're touring with different artists as well. How does a guitarist go about landing gigs at that level? Is it something where they come to you, or do you go after those gigs, or how do you end up in that position?
Well, I don't think there's any one set formula. I think it's, in my case, I moved to Austin in 1983 because all the music I loved was coming out of there. Joe Ely, the whole blues scene, the Vaughan brothers,
right,
Luann Barton, the singer-songwriter thing, which to me was grittier than like the singer-songwriter thing coming out of Nashville or even L.A. So, I mean, I was young and I could do whatever I wanted at the time. I had a friend that lived there. She let me sleep on her floor for 3 weeks, and I just hightailed it down to Austin. And, the first 2 weeks I was there, I was like, I called up the head writer for the Austin American-Statesman. Somebody said, "You should talk to Ed Ward." Right. And after I met Ed, I knew that was probably the dumbest thing I could have done. He's a real cantankerous guy. But he said, "I don't know if you're any good or not, but I know this girl who's looking for a guitar player named Lucinda Williams." And so the second week I'm there, I go over an audition with Lucinda. And this is 83, so it was way before she had gone on to be, win Grammys and stuff. But she hired me. A week later, we're going to the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival to play down there. I'm like, this kid from Kentucky. It's like I landed in this magical world of Austin when it was a small town, and I get this gig where I get to go to New Orleans. I'd never been there, and we were in this funky French Quarter hotel, and in the hotel was us, Grandmaster Flash, Richard Thompson, and Roy Orbison.
Wow.
And we got to be friends with Roy Orbison's band and got to ride over to their gig that night and met Roy, and he was a total sweetheart. So coming back to Austin, Lucinda had another guitar player. She wanted 2 guitar players, a guy named Derek O'Brien, who's a badass blues player. He got me in Luann Barton's band. She was kind of one of the premier blues singers in Austin at the time, which got me into the whole Antones crowd, Antones being the blues club in Austin.
Right.
And at the time, it was like Otis Rush, Albert Collins, Buddy Guy, Jimmy Rogers, you name it, would come through and play with the house band, which was a great, the local guys were just unbelievably great players. And so I hung out down there like every single night. And because I was playing with Luann, I got in free. And,
nice.
I got to play with Albert Collins. I got to do a lot of this great stuff. And then out of the blue one day, I got a call from Joe Ely, say, "We're looking for a guitar player. Can you go to Australia in a week?" And yeah. And, so for me, it was just like, I just kind of went with my gut, and I moved to where what was happening, what I was interested in was happening. And I was lucky enough to be a little naive to make this phone call, and which led to another thing. And then, so, that it's different now. I think it really is different now. I mean, certainly in Austin, it's a much bigger city. There's less camaraderie amongst all the the bands. Back then, the punk guys would come out to hear Joe Ely, and Ely would go out to hear the blues guys. So, you know, that was what got me started.
Uh-huh.
And from that point on, you know, I really tried. I don't know that I did it consciously, but I tried to operate on intuition. And you know, does this feel right? Is this the thing that in the long run is going to be the right thing for me to do? And you know, I had this incredible opportunity to go out with Joe Ely for 6 years, and you know, a guy that's the consummate artist, great songwriter, unbelievable performer. You know, whether we're playing in front of 20,000 people, opening up for you know, in his case, the Rolling Stones, or playing in a club in Germany for 10 people. It was like, you know, if there were 10 people there, he would try even harder.
Right.
You know, and that made such a huge impression on me. And he gave me the freedom. He encouraged me to step out. And that was really where I got my real musical education, I think, was in that band. And then, you know, the offer for Mellencamp came along. I did that for 3 years and made 3 records with them, learned things could not have learned otherwise, you know, and played. You know, I played, the first gig was Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
And, you know, and then at the end of that tenure, I got a call to go fill in for Dickie Betts with the Allman Brothers.
Oh, awesome.
And that situation really reminded me of how fun music could be again. With John, it had kind of become a little more like theater, the live playing, you know, the shows were really structured. And going out with the Allman Brothers and, you know, playing 5-minute solos on Elizabeth Reed or Whipping Post and have the whole crowd erupt at the end of it, it was like, God, people are listening.
Right.
And it was like, you know, like the whole feeling I got from playing with Ely, the improvising. And it really made me realize how much, you know, music touched my heart. You know, the right music really was heartfelt and really what I wanted to be doing.
Right.